Hello, everyone. Welcome to With Infinite Love. We have a reading today, an impromptu reading today, on what you and your partner are creating together in your life together. What kind of life you're building together. Maybe you're building a business together. Maybe you're building a family together. Whatever comes through. I Spirit was very insistent that I do this reading. So I don't have a huge plan for it. We're just going to follow the energy and see what we learn. But we do have 4 groups for this reading. Group 1 has this moonstone. Group 2 has this bloodstone. It's a very dark green. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. It's really, really pretty. Group 3 has this fluorite. And group 4 has this opal, pink opal. So go ahead and pause if you need more time to decide. The timestamps will be in the description below. And so, yeah, you choose group 1, 2, 3, or 4, and I will see you in your reading. Hi, group 1. You chose the moonstone, this beautiful moonstone, and the card you chose was the 10 of Wands. And I think these two are so interesting together, so we're going to start by talking about these. So the 10 of Wands is really a card of burden, of pushing through the just like of being exhausted, but knowing that you're so close to your finish line, and really just determining not to give up and finding that last well of strength within you so that you can go forward and accomplish your goals. Which sounds very heavy, but it came out with this moonstone. And I choose my stones intuitively, and this one was the loudest about where it wanted to be. So moonstone is a stone of flow, of divine feminine energy, if that's something that if that's language that resonates with you. It is receptive and creative and balancing and harmonizing, and it's really good for lunar ceremonies, which I'm enjoying today because I am filming this on the new moon in Pisces. As a Pisces moon, this is an odd sort of dreamy day for me anyways. So but so yeah, so you have these two energies together, and like I say, moonstone can be all about flow. So I'm really thinking that what you have here is a relationship that will accomplish so much more than anyone else thinks is possible, because not only do you have this energy of pushing through and finishing what you've started, this determination, but you also have this flow that often means that you don't have the energetic burden that you otherwise would, even though your output can be so much greater when you're in flow. So I think these two together, this is like this is giving me power couple energy. This is giving very like both sides of the polarity of getting things done. And so I'm wondering if you won't build a business together, but it could even be family, because if anybody has ever even been around kids briefly in a shorter capacity, but enough to see how much juggling and effort that takes all by itself. So this isn't really an indicator of what it is, but it is giving me, like, my first instinct with this pairing is that you will have the business and the family and the investments and the vacations that you want to take. Like, this is a very full life that leaves people wondering how in heck you do it all. And you do it because you have this balance of flow and very sort of, I'm going to use this phrase loosely, but that masculine drive outward of accomplishing things. So I'll put this here, so it doesn't get lost in my little rainbow here that I actually need to fix. Anyways, but I will do that later. We'll put your stone here, we'll put the card back in the deck and shuffle for you and see what the cards have to say for what you are building with your current or future long-term partner. The Lovers, not taking reversals. The Lovers. So this is your soulmate, whether you're in this relationship or not. You have the Nine of Swords. It's a card of anxiety and exhaustion. Interesting. Spirit, tell me more about. Ooh, okay, fine. The High Priestess. It's the High Sage in this deck. Interesting, interesting, interesting. And the Two of Wands. Okay, now we'll get some clarifiers. Spirit, tell me more about the Lovers. Tell me more about the Lovers, Spirit. Ooh, I see you. The Four of Swords. Okay. And for the Nine of Swords, tell me about the Nine of Swords. Ooh, okay. Your cards definitely want to be heard today. So let's see. I think I can move these up a little bit more, make sure they're all in frame. And the High Priestess, Spirit. Tell me about the High Priestess. This one. We're back with your Ten of Wands. So interesting, the duality in this spread today. And tell me about the Two of Wands. Card for the Two of Wands, please. Woo! Oh, that's too many. I think that's just me letting them cards get away from me. Hello. Okay. All right, what are we doing here, Spirit? Two of Wands. Which one of these? The Temperance, I'm hearing. Okay. All right. So let's start here. And we'll pull more cards as we need to. So you have, oh, before I forget, we have Gemini with the Lovers, Cancer with the Chariot, Pisces with the High Priestess, or I think I've seen Virgo too, and Sagittarius with Temperance. And then we have Wands and Swords, so air and fire. The air and fire signs, that's Gemini, Libra, Aquarius for air, and Aries, Leo, Sagittarius for fire. So, okay. So we have the Lovers, which especially in this deck is talking more about the soulmate energy of it than it is about the choice energy of the card. The Lovers card is definitely one of the ones where the meaning has evolved a little bit more over time. And that came out with the Four of Swords. It was clarified by the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is a card of resting and meditating and strategizing before battle, but like not in like kind of what we consider the more sneaky or deceptive strategizing energy of the Seven of Swords, which the Seven of Swords is not always bad like that. It's just, this is a more restful. This is like the night before the big battle, where you're really gathering your strength and going over the battle plan in your head so that you can walk onto the field in the morning with a clear head and an, an ability to adapt to the circumstances that arise for you. So, with that coming out with the lovers, I think this is telling me about the nature of your connection, because we saw already that you have very similar, if opposite polarity energies, you and your partner. And so I think you both value this Four of Swords energy. You value the meditative, grounded, kind of clear headed, well thought out kind of plan for your life and for what you want to achieve. I think you have goals together that you are willing to fight for and willing to really do whatever it takes to achieve. But you both come at it from this position of flow, because when I really think about the Four of Swords energy, this is someone who is getting themselves into flow so that their battle has the most likely outcome that they want. And again, we saw that, and we saw that in your energy check there at the beginning. So that's just, I think, really reiterating that this is something that you both share. um so I'm gonna move on from there, because I think we've kind of really captured that. The Nine of Swords being a card of anxiety, after having said that, I think is so interesting with the Chariot, because the Chariot is ultimately, it's a card of having balanced the light and the shadow, the, the quote unquote good and bad, the but really it's more about light and shadow than good and bad. But the way we have learned to moralize energies has, I think, affected all of us. So when the Knight of Swords is the Nine of Swords is generally a card of fear and anxiety. And, you know, just because you value peace and balance and forward movement does not mean that fears don't come up, that you don't have moments of doubt and moments of going, am I trying to do too much? Am I trying to hold too much? Am I on the right path? I think those are natural things for everybody to wonder about at some point, especially when you're co-creating, not just with spirit, but with another human being that you're in relationship with. But the Chariot tells me that you will have that balance that allows you to have that forward movement, that rapid forward movement towards your goals. Because the Chariot, only works when both of the creatures carrying it forward are working together, um, at the same pace and with the same pull. And so this tells me that you will have found that you will get that kind of, it's an almost spiritual match of really just knowing exactly how much you're giving, exactly how much your partner's giving, not in a way where you're like monitoring it to make sure that everybody's doing their part, but in a way of just true balance, that you will have a kind of a sixth sense about, so that you can pull your chariot forward in the most effective, the most efficient way possible. And then, we move from there into this high priestess, the high sage, this kind of mastery of the intuitive realm that the high priestess really embodies, and is teaching the fool as he goes on his journey. Because I do definitely, that's just how I learned to read tarot, was especially the major arcana, was as a journey. through the different archetypes of mastery. And so, the high sage is the one who teaches the fool about the esoteric, about the inner world, about the unseen, and how to use that to your advantage. And I think that's something, these two cards, again, like the high sage is giving me moonstone energy. And so in a way, this again is very much reiterating what we saw in your first two cards, that you have an intuitive knowing of where you're meant to go and the best way to do that, and you work toward it tirelessly. And then we have the Two of Wands, which is really, it's a card of manifesting. It's a card of having kind of planted the seeds for what you wish to come in, and then knowing that it will take some time for that to develop, and not rushing that process, but holding that space. With the hand here, you can see them holding the energy of these two wands, these two different inspired paths that they're manifesting both together. And I do think you will be you will manifest in multiple realms with this person the things that you desire, um, and that you will know how to energetically hold space to have it all. To Okay, so I'm gonna, I know I'm stopping mid sentence, but I want to get to this temperance, because I think this is really the sentence I've been searching for. So the temperance is, it can be an angelic energy if that's something that you resonate with, but it is a card of divine balance, of patience, of seeing other perspectives, of really knowing how to hold multiple things. And that's just what we're seeing so much of in your reading, is this fantastic ability that you and your partner have or will have to hold it all with grace and ease, and yes, you're doing the work, but this is such energetically aligned action, energetically aligned connection and patience, and just, you are so on the same page with each other and with the desires that you are calling in and manifesting, that this is so rare. And that's why, people just don't know how you do it. But this kind of flow is it requires mastery on many levels to maintain this kind of balance, this dance. Thank you, Spirit. Dance. This is very much a dance of knowing how to adjust, and how to hold things. With the Chariot here, when you're, well, you probably don't. You might, but when I think of the Chariot, I think about holding the reins that hold these two creatures together that are pulling the Chariot, and knowing, how much tension and slack you need to give them so that they take you most efficiently in the direction that you're going. And that is something that is learned. And I think you and your partner have 100% mastered this. This is, honestly, it's just a really beautiful energy, and I'm loving your reading so far. So let's see, what do we want to do from here? I think we'll just get some cosmic insights for confirmations for you guys. And I think I'm just going to keep it pretty simple today. At least for you, this is such a straightforward, I mean, in some ways it's just saying the same thing over and over again, but it's really beautiful thing to say. And you know, like I say, it's power couple, but not in this like kind of toxic domination way that we sometimes see it being in. This one wants to come out. I saw that. I'm taking this in reverse because that is not what's going on here. Yes, you guys will create abundance together. I have absolutely no doubt. But it's not what it's not about, you know, cheating people out of or having more than someone else. Like, this is not a competitive energy with the world. This is just, you're so in alignment with what you're after. So if you know someone or you're currently in a situation where there is this kind of feeling of being used, maybe this is not this relationship. Okay, what do we have? Health. We have open up your heart. We have, oh goodness, we have move on. And looks like date night. Okay, so yeah, I think some of you might be in a connection that is not this one. My cards got all mixed up here. Let's see, here we go. Sorry, trying to get myself reorganized here so I can pull you some more. I don't think this was part of your thing. It was just me being disorganized. Okay, so here's what I'm getting from your oracles. I think some of you, like I just started to say, are in a connection that is not this one. That I think your ambition attracts people who want you for what you can create. And I think that is having an impact on your health, even if you're not aware of it. Like the fact that this came out on the pile with the Nine of Swords, if this energy would cause you, just from what I know about you from reading your cards, would cause you anxiety. This is not that, if that's your situation, and this could be specific, this might not be for everybody, but I think it is for a lot of you. The gold digger is giving you anxiety, it's causing you health problems. You need to get out of that, because that is not what spirit has for you. That's not the aligned relationship for you. You have this really gorgeous, equal, reciprocal, just balanced relationship that is going to bring you everything that you want. You know, move on, open up your heart. This ain't it. This ain't it. Open up your heart, and this, you know, what's waiting for you is this alignment and this mutual effort. Is there anything else here, Spirit? Whew. Anything else here for group one? How will they recognize their person? Oh, the Spirit's really telling you to let go. Make room for the new beginning on its way to you now. Yeah, I don't think you're going to have to wait too long for this to come in. Because there's such forward movement in these cards. There's such like commitment and determination and excitement and really kind of joy for you in these cards. So yeah, I think you're gonna this will come in as soon as you let this go. Like, yes, I mean, take time to heal if you need it, because I can understand why you would. Like, this gold digger stressing you out. Um, yeah, no, let that go. How will they recognize spirit? How will they recognize the person that's coming in? Oh, intimacy, chemistry, sexual chemistry, and reminiscing. Is interesting. This might be someone from your past. That I mean, take that if it resonates. You don't have to take that. This can absolutely be someone new. But if there's someone who, like, the timing was off or something before, that could be who this is. But regardless, this person and you are going to have really great chemistry. So pregnancy, someone is expecting. So yeah, this could absolutely be a part of this creation. Certainly, if that's not something that you want, you'll want to take the necessary steps to prevent that, because I think this is the kind of relationship where you have a very healthy, active, intimate life. Um, so if this is a possibility for you at this point, and you that's not something you want, you will want to take the steps that you need to take to avoid that until it aligns with your plan, which I don't even need to tell you, because frankly, with this energy, you don't you don't strike me as the type to leave things to chance. Anything else, Spirit? Yeah, they'll be back. So again, this might be someone from your past. Like I said, you don't have to take that, but it's there if it's for you. And commitment. Yep, things are getting serious. So yeah, I'm gonna stop there because we're just restating the obvious now. But yeah, that was your reading. I very much enjoyed reading this for you. I have no idea how long this was because I got so into this energy, but I hope that was helpful. If you liked it, if it resonated, please let me know by leaving a like or a comment. Subscribe for more on the channel like this. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night wherever you are. So take care. Bye. Hi, Group 2. If you chose the World card and this bloodstone, I just love this with the dark green with the gold veins throughout. It's just so gorgeous. Anyways, then this is your reading today, all about what you and your current or future partner are going to build together, what life you're going to build together. Like, what are you co-creating with within your relationship? And the world is a card associated with the sign of Capricorn, which is very much that building kind of energy. If you know anybody who has Capricorn in their seventh house, or who has a Capricorn Venus, like, this is a very committed energy of building together. I can speak from my own perspective as someone with Capricorn in their seventh house, their house of partnerships, and one-on-one connections, that it's an energy of like not being able to really engage in any kind of relationship where you wouldn't have the opportunity to build something together. And so bloodstone is really great for the heart chakra. So this is not a cold energy. It's a very practical energy, but it is also very heart led. And so having these two energies together is really giving me this kind of, with the world being the major arcana and the highest level of Capricorn, I think you and your partner might be coming together specifically to close out cycles, karmic cycles, or just cycles in your lives that have, maybe you are breaking generational curses, or maybe you've always struggled in relationships and this will be the one that heals that. We'll see what the cards say, but just from these two, I want to start with the energies of these two. And, if that resonates for you, then that can be a confirmation that you're in the right place. But we're going to see what comes up in your cards. I'm going to put this one back into the deck so that we can shuffle it in and get your cards. All right, so I'll shuffle your deck a couple more times just so that we know it's good and shuffled. All right, Spirit, for group 2. Ooh. For group 2, Spirit, tell me, what are they building with their current or future partner? Strength. So there's Leo energy with strength. Ooh. We have the Ace of Coins, new practical financial beginnings, and the Nine of Coins, which is a card of abundance. Ooh. Your cards definitely want to be seen. Seven of Wands. All right. Spirit, clarify strength, please. For my group 2s, clarify strength for what they are building with their current or future partner. Judgment. Scorpio. I think we'll have to look that up. And for the Ace of Coins, Spirit, you please clarify the Ace of Coins for what group 2s will be building with their current or future partner. Clarify the Ace of Coins, please, Spirit. What are they building? Four of Cups. Wow, okay. Noted the Tower. Don't panic if you see the Tower. All right, so we have one more card, please, Spirit. Clarify the Seven of Wands, the Six of Wands. Okay, let's take a look at this. So immediately with strength and judgment being major arcanas coming out after the card that you initially selected being major arcana, this is a very big, life-changing, like kind of an epic relationship energy. Strength, when we talk about strength, we talk about really balancing sort of the outer presentation of strength with the inner strength of collected emotional intelligence, peace, in addition to having that outward, usually they show a lion for this very fierce outward kind of strength. And the fact that judgment came out to clarify that Judgment is a card of resurrection energy. And we kind of saw that a little bit in the beginning when we were talking about how this relationship will be a cycle breaker in the best way for you. I think that there is a resurrection here of the strength that you were always meant to embody, that you bring out in each other. And so there's a very, this is kind of an essential, meaning essence based growth pattern and building that you are doing together. It's, I think, going to be a very healing, very, very powerfully healing connection for both of you. And so this is less about these two cards. We'll get to the rest, but these two cards, I think, are less about anything you're building in a tangible form, but it more about the foundation within yourselves and in the relationship that you'll be building together to really, you're kind of going to become the best versions of yourselves. And then the relationship is that third thing that elevates the energies you have together to an even greater proportion. So I'm going to take kind of these, I think, four cards together because these came out together and these came out together. And that was an indicator to me that they're all kind of connected on the same thing. So with the Ace of Coins and the Nine of Coins, this is financial security. I think going from the Ace to the Nine, that's almost the entire journey of the coins suit, the Pentacles suit. And so I do think you will be building something, like perhaps a business together, that, or at the very least, the finances that you build together will start small, but they will grow so much. And so you will be building wealth, physical wealth in this relationship. But I don't think that's necessarily going to be an easy journey for you. We do have the Four of Cups, which is, usually talking about looking at, focusing on, dreaming about this one cup that you don't have because these three are empty or not what you want or something like that. And so there is, I think, vision in this thing that you're building, but it's almost a pie in the sky kind of thing. I think it will need to be grounded, which, coins are a grounded energy. But I think this Four of Cups coming out with the Tower to clarify this financial journey, I do think this is going to be a challenging path for you. The Tower, again, is Scorpio. This is really, it's a collapsing of unstable foundations. And people see the Tower and they panic because of the destruction that it represents. But the point of the Tower is that the only things that can be destroyed are the things that were never solid to begin with. Okay, so this tower was built on cracks, a cracked foundation. That's what all of these are here. And so it can't survive. And so it will have to come down along this journey. But because you have cultivated this strength, this sense of resurrection, this resilience from within, this sense of what divine justice can be, you will weather this. It's this is going to be, in a way, a tool that will solidify what you are building with each other, is going through this process together. And so, no, it won't always be easy. But this foundation is much more solid than this foundation that is cracked. And so, letting that come down and supporting each other through this moment, this period of life, is what brings you this financial stability. At the end here, we have the Seven of Wands, which is generally a defensive energy. It's that you have fought for a position, and now you're defending that position because it's under attack. And like I say, it's not always the most fun card to see, but it's being clarified by the Six of Wands. And the Six of Wands is this card of public victory. And I think that's what you're defending. You're defending the massive amounts of growth that you have gone through in this relationship, are so, they're worthy of defending. This is not a hollow energy at all. This is really, you know, the value of what you've built, and you're in this together, and you're not going to let, okay, I just heard, you're not going to let each other tear it down either. Like, when things get rough here, you're going to know and remind each other that what you have is incredibly rare and worth fighting for and worth doing the work to protect. Which, again, that's very much the Capricorn energy that we saw with the world. You reach completion of a cycle by not giving up on it, by saying, no, this is valuable. My experience is valuable. My wealth is valuable. Everything I've had to learn to get this far. This is a relationship that I have invested in that has healed so many things in me. I'm not going to let that go just because we've had some hard times. Even if it's because we're just tired and we're picking at each other, we know that what we have is worth celebrating and defending. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to leave that there, and then I'm going to get some oracle cards for you to clarify this a little bit further. So we'll see what comes out with the cosmic insights. See, for those of you who have not met this person yet, if we can get some indicators about how you might recognize them, and just any other advice and guidance that comes through. I mentioned this in group one that I hadn't planned this reading, but I got a very clear and very persistent message from Spirit that this was what needed to come through right now. So here we are. All right, I'm gonna leave that there. So Spirit, for group two, how will they recognize this person? What caution, find out more information, don't overwork yourself. That's interesting. I'm really being drawn to the don't overwork yourself, because that is one of the kind of downfalls to Capricorn. You have health issues could arise. So that's in what I'm actually, so what I'm seeing here, which is just what's coming through here with this plus sign, which is making me think of kind of the Red Cross or pharmacy signs if you've been to um, I think it's Europe that has pharmacy signs like that. And this health card with the heart monitor, you could know this person through the medical field in some way, communicate, compromise, forgive, work it out. We actually saw that in your tarot, that was that you were going to have to work through some stuff. So don't overwork yourself. Find out more information. I think this will be something that develops over time. This is kind of the only way that you can have the strong foundation that we saw in those first two cards for what you'll build together. And yeah, I really do. With health, I'm really getting that you might just meet somehow through a medical field or through a healer, maybe a health retreat, if that's more your style. Love spell, you've been bewitched. Yeah, I do think you're going to feel very pulled to this person. We've had a lot of really big energies with your major arcana, but Scorpio has a magnetism to it, and Leo has that bright, playful energy that's can be so attractive. And Capricorn is out there working hard, and there's what's her name? There's an astrologer on TikTok. I don't know why this is coming up right now, but there's an astrologer on TikTok that says Capricorn is an ice Leo. That, like, because Capricorns like attention about as much as Leos, they just don't have necessarily the warmth of Leo. Because they're so focused on work, they can come across as cold, but they're not. Like, if you know Capricorns, they're not. They're just low-key terrified of their emotions most of the time, unless they've done the work. I digress. Open up your heart. It will help you attract more love. Yes, definitely. Yeah, this might be someone, since that came out when I was talking about Capricorn's kind of colder energy. Might be someone who doesn't necessarily give you the warm fuzzies. And with caution and communicate and love spell, yeah, earth sign. Such an earthy energy. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. So that might be a confirmation for you. But I'm thinking you might want to have to allow yourself to soften, to stay open, to stay available, to stay curious about what is underneath. Earth sign, air sign. Yeah, this person, if these are if these are confirmations for your person, and it really feels kind of like they are, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, these are the signs that are going to hide their emotions until they're absolutely sure about them. And even then, like, an earth sign is going to be more likely to we'll come to that. Yeah. Hold on a second. Okay. Earth sign is going to be showing their love usually with acts of service and gifts and taking care of you in practical ways. And air sign, will engage your mind, but these are not the most emotionally demonstrative signs out there. So I think really with opening up your heart, you are going to have to look deeper to see those kinds of love. And I don't mean, sometimes that energy can be, it can be tempting to be like, oh no, I see it, they're just not showing it, when that's actually a way that we allow things that aren't healthy for us. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying here is that they might not have a love language that you receive necessarily. And so you open up your heart, communicate, that you will be attracted to them. I absolutely believe that. With narcissists, though, I think you might see this kind of reticent, unemotional energy as a sign that they are just too full of themselves. And that's why you're going to have to see through the bravado. I don't think they're a narcissist. I'm never going to tell you to be with a narcissist, or to entertain one at all. This could just be, they could be a little avoidant, but mostly they're they're just not as emotionally expressive, I think, as most of you are going to feel comfortable with. So Mercury retrograde, I am still filming this in Mercury retrograde, but regardless, I do think that you will have to, I think communication is something that's going to have to be intentionally approached in this relationship, because it might not be as natural for you. I think you might have to work at communicating properly, about listening and kind of active listening, where you say, okay, this is what I'm hearing. Is that what you're saying? Until you figure out the nuances of the way you communicate. Pregnancy, someone is expecting. I think this came out in group 1, and I'm going to be really honest with you. This is the card that Spirit gave me when I asked what reading I should do. So I'm using pregnancy not necessarily as physical pregnancy, but as the thing that you're creating together. And so I think really this is just coming out to be like, yes, this is what you're creating together. This is how you're going to go about it. And yeah, let's see if we can get one more. One more. It's not the right time. So the first thing I'm hearing is that this might be not be coming in immediately. This will be a connection that comes together, and I know we hate this, but it will come together in divine timing when you are both ready for this level of growth, for this level of depth, because this is something that has so much Scorpio, which is deep inner energy, and we saw Leo and Capricorn, which are very much outer energies. They're very public facing things, and so it's going to come in when you and your person are both on a level that allows you to inhabit these spaces simultaneously. And that can be a very high, it takes high level mastery of energetics to be able to hold both. And so, I'm never going to say that you don't deserve love until you've healed or until you've improved yourself enough. Like, that's, I think, something that we have gotten way too eager to say. You are worthy of love and you deserve a happy relationship as you are today. This relationship will come when it's designed to come, and not a minute before. But we see that it's really going to pay off. And so, that patience and the inner work that you have to do will really just, they're bringing you to a place where this can come in. Woo. I don't think those meant to come out. I think I just got careless. So let's see. Is that it, Spirit? Is there any more messages for how group 2 will recognize or know this person. All right, I think we're done. Oh wait, here, what's this? Intimacy, sexual chemistry, reminiscing. Yeah, this might be someone from your past with reminiscing, but regardless, this is going to be, we said before, with like love spell and with all the scorpionic energy there, you are going to feel, you're going to feel this is going to be drawing you in. So I think we're done. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope this was helpful, and I wish you a great rest of your day or night whenever you're watching this, and take care. Bye. Hi, Group 3. If you chose the fluorite, then this is your reading today, all about what you and your current or next partner will be building and or creating together, as part of the relationship. So the card you chose was the Seeker of Swords. And that is the Page of Swords in this deck. Sorry, my mind just wandered off for a second. The Seeker of Swords is very curious, very smart, but very curious, youthful energy, really wanting to learn, willing to challenge the status quo, just kind of wants, this is the kid who asks why all the time, right? And in the best way, and maybe also in the worst way, but this is still, it's a very energetic, very curious, very eager for information sort of person generally. And it came out with the fluorite, and your fluorite is a crystal of really kind of balancing the mind, of bringing clarity but also wisdom kind of into like solid good energy. And it's good at creating order out of chaos that the Seeker of Swords can sometimes bring. So this is these two, and this is this has been the theme kind of throughout this reading so far. You know, you're the third group I'm filming. I'm filming in order today, and I've noticed that in all of the groups so far, the stone that you chose really balances the card that you chose. And I know the card you chose was, you didn't know what it was, and I do that on purpose. But it has been, I love that for this reading in particular, because it's really showing the way two people can complement each other, to make it, to balance each other out in a way, not in a I complete you way, but just in a complementary way. So that's what we have so far. I'm going to move your fluorite over there. We're going to put this back in the deck and reshuffle, and we will get your cards to find out a little bit more. I was not going to make this reading, but Spirit kind of insisted. And so, but I've really enjoyed it so far. It's a different sort of topic, and I'm really liking the way it's coming together. So I hope this is helpful and enjoyable for you as well. So, Spirit, please, for group 3, tell me what they're building together, creating together with their partner. What are they building together What are they co-creating with their partner? Okay, this one wants to come out. Two of Swords. We'll get more. What is group 3 creating in their current or next relationship? What are they and their partner building or creating together? Four of Swords. You guys have a lot of mental energy just with the cards we've seen so far. Okay, hold on. We'll get those if they're meant to come out. What is group 3 creating or building with their partner next or current? Let's see. Temperance. All right, got to make space for the cards. Ooh. 10 of Cups, nice. Two of Swords, Four of Swords, Temperance, and the 10 of Cups. Okay, we're going to get some clarifiers. You clarify the Two of Swords for me, please, Spirit. Get a card, please. Clarify the Two of Swords. The Two of Wands. Interesting. Four of Swords. Can you clarify the Four of Swords for me, please? The Queen of Swords. And for Temperance, please, can I get a card for Temperance? Please clarify Temperance for me. For what group 3s are building or creating with their future or current partner? Queen of Wands. All right, all right, all right. And for the 10 of Cups, Spirit, one more. What are you building? What is group 3 building with their current or future partner? Clarify the 10 of Cups, please. Card for the 10 of Cups. Tell me what group 3 is creating or building with their future partner or current partner. You have a very reticent group 3. I think all this Swords energy isn't sure about the whole building thing. You know, Swords are the opposite of Pentacles, which is the building sort of energy. Clarify the 10 of Cups, please, Spirit, for my group 3s. This one. 5 of Wands. Okay. All right. Let's get into it here. So you have the Two of Swords clarified by the Two of Wands. And so first of all, we'll start with twos being kind of duality and or polarity. And so I do think this is a very complementary energy between you and your person. And we kind of already saw that because I didn't explain to the other groups like that was a thing until I got to yours. You know, with the stone and the card that you chose. But so the Two of Swords is generally considered to be about indecision, about not knowing which way to go, which answer is right, feeling very kind of stuck between, usually I see it described as being stuck between following your heart and following your head, and having to really rely on your intuition to make that choice. So the Two of Wands, though, is a card of manifestation. And with there being two wands, it's like, I want to manifest this and I want to manifest this. And I'm holding space for both of them to come in, especially the way this card is drawn. And so, and you have your third eye here in the Two of Swords and the moon here in the Two of Wands. And so there is this kind of very weirdly Neptunian energy in both of these cards of trusting the unseen for the guidance and for the energy to bring this in. And so really I think we were talking about how you and your partner will complement each other in a way. I think one of you tends to be stuck and indecisive, whereas the other one says, hey, we can have it all. And so I really think in your dynamic, this is going to help you both, because for the Two of Wands, for the person who's more geared towards the Two of Wands energy, I think isn't always necessarily grounded in having to make a decision, whereas the Two of Swords person gets stuck there. And so this, I think, when you come together, you're going to really be able to make the pros and cons list with the Two of Swords for your decisions, but also say, we can have the best of both worlds if we play our cards right. Yeah. So I'm going to move on a little bit. With the Four of Swords, that's a card of kind of resting, taking a time out, preparing for battle, getting yourself mentally ready for what's coming next, because you're going to need all of your intellect and all of your strength. And so it's the stillness before a battle generally. And that's being clarified by the Queen of Swords, who is, so for me, the Queen of Swords is the Sovereign of Swords in this deck, because this is a gender neutral deck. Sovereign of Swords really embodies this discernment. She knows what's right for her. She's not people pleasing. She's not going to cater to her to what other people want if it's not aligned for her. She's so solid in who she is and what she wants, and she's not unfeeling. She's just boundaried. And so I always associate the Queen of Swords with being very well boundaried. I think together, you and your partner are going to protect your peace. Just so I know we're talking about what you're building together, but you have so much swords energy here. I think what you're building together is largely internal. It's largely the ways that you teach each other to be better, to be more authentic, to be to be more aligned with who you really want to be. So I'm really getting this energy that you are going to be learning and teaching each other to protect your peace, because when we think of the swords suit in tarot, we think of a lot of mental energy. There can be a lot of anxiety, a lot of this rapid thinking that you can't really keep up with. You have a million ideas and you can't implement them all, so you have to decide. And it can be really hard if you know air signs. I am surrounded by air signs, but if you know air signs, they it's really hard for them to get out of their head and relax. And I think we're using the swords energy here to say that you are prioritizing that. You're prioritizing, like I said, peace in your relationship. You're prioritizing your rest. You're prioritizing quiet time together. Like you might have a quality time kind of that might be really important to you. And so you are protecting that space at all costs because it helps you get into this temperance energy. So temperance is the card of Sagittarius, but it really talks about balance and patience and softening to see more perspectives and to hold, again, duality. We're seeing a lot of that duality in your reading, and learning to hold that space gently and graciously and gracefully. And so that came out, the sovereign or queen of wands is what's clarifying this temperance card. And really, again, I'm going to say, oh gosh, yeah, you have one cups card in your whole reading. All of the rest of your reading is fire and air. So I don't know if that's going to be helpful for someone, but fire signs are very intuitively connected to their body. And so temperance is Sagittarius, the sovereign of wands. I think that's I want to say Aries, queen of wands. But this is you're protecting your peace so that you can have this balance between your head and your intuition and your passion and the things that light you up from the inside that aren't necessarily mental. Fire signs, like I say, they're very intuitively connected to their body. They just know how to embrace their sacral energy, the energy that drives them, their light, their fire, their fuel, their zest for life. And swords are really good at getting lost really in the way they envision things should be and how they're not there yet and how can I strategize and get there, while fire comes in and says, no, what feels alive in this moment. And so I do think that you will learn together, kind of how we said with the Two of Swords and the Two of Wands, to balance all of that mental energy with the intuitive, alive nature of the fire energy. But what you're building, and here's where we're finally getting to the culmination of all of these things, is the Ten of Cups. This is ultimate happiness, total emotional fulfillment, like almost too much. Like you, yeah, you can't even imagine anything better on an emotionally fulfilling level than what you have here together. And I think it's because you balance each other out so well. Now, I thought it was really interesting that the Five of Wands came out as the clarifying energy for the Ten of Cups, because the Five of Wands is often a card of conflict, but it's still wands. And I've seen it described several times as kind of a more playful conflict. Like this could be, especially with all of the swords energy, this could be banter. Like, um, not to insert myself in your reading or anything, but as a Gemini Venus, I nothing, very few things make me happier than good, playful banter. And so I think you do have this kind of playful, slightly competitive, there might be a little bit of an edge to it, but it's totally like good hearted. It's very much, there's a lot of love in this. It's just, it's, it's, I've said it before, but banter is a love language for air signs. And I just, not all air signs, but in general, I have found that to be true. I have had the best banter with air signs. So I think that's kind of how you navigate all of this fire and air energy together to keep the turn on and the passion and the just general sense of aliveness in all of this mental energy is by I think you're alchemizing that with your banter, and it's leading to a very emotionally fulfilling relationship. It might not look the way people think about romantic relationships, but it's it's just good. It's playful in a very different way, but I love it. It's I have a friend who has a lot of fire and air in his chart, and he does get lost in his head, but he's really good about coming back into his body. And but I've heard him talk about how he has to balance those things. Like it's an intentional thing, but yeah, I mean, fire and air are considered both, complementary when you're talking about elemental compatibility. Fire and air generally do well together. So yeah, I think really what you're building together is this balance. Is this Yeah, I think this your reading in particular is an internal building of skills, really, on how to find balance in your lives and in your relationship. And I mean that's temperance. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this part of the reading there. We're gonna get you some oracle cards to be confirmations or um, advice. It's been a mix in the last couple of groups. So let's see what comes out for you. This might, if you're not already in this relationship, there might be ways to find out here how you might recognize this person. Um, but yeah, Spirit for group 3. What do they need to know about this relationship? Tell me what is group 3. What do they need to know? How will they recognize this person? What advice do we have for them for this relationship? When is it coming out? What do they need to know about this relationship that they're in or that's coming in for them, where they will build? this balance between passion and intellect. Okay, we're going to take this one. They'll be back. Okay. They'll be back. Tells me this might be someone that you've already met. I wonder if this is someone that you suspected before was using you for some kind of abundance that you have. So interesting that these would be the cards. Okay. Intuition. Red flags. We have gold digger. We have move on. What is going on here? Is one or both of you in another connection? Pets. Getting a new pet. Giving a. Is that what the reticence is here, Spirit? Are they? If you're in a current connection, I don't think the connection you're in is the one this one's talking about. I will say that for sure. Because if your intuition is telling you to move on from someone who might be using you, then this is confirmation for that. You might have someone from the past who this reading reminded you of. Maybe you had pets with them, and they might come back for another. Okay, pregnancy card is showing up in all of these, and I think that's because that was the card that Spirit showed me when I was directed to do this reading. But yeah, so take that as it resonates. Someone is expecting something, but then I think we have to give it time. And, you know, this could be a timing card. This could be a 9 months sort of a thing, 10 months technically. If you know, you know. But so yeah, this might be a situation that takes some time to come in. It takes some time to be nurtured in order for it to really be ready. This is, I know none of us really like to hear divine timing, but it is there for a reason, and that reason is usually because one or both of us is not ready yet, or might be in another connection. Be careful of someone sneaky. Yeah. Yeah, you definitely, there is absolutely an energy here. And so, like, if you know, or even if you don't, especially if you don't know who this is, do your protection spells, do your, you know, your evil eye stuff, like, you know, protect yourself from whatever it is that is draining your energy. It's keeping this from coming in. This balanced, playful energy that wants to come in is being blocked by whoever this is or whatever this is who is using you, who is lying and manipulating to you. You need to move on from something. So that's for sure. But we do have this nurturing energy here between pets and pregnancy. You know, you're taking care of yourself, taking care of your body, of your pets, of, you know, any children in your life can really help you to heal and to really I'm hearing to really use your pets and these kids to remind yourself what it is like to love and be loved on that pure level that we're able to love pets and children. Anything else, Spirit? Any other way? How would they recognize their new person? they recognize this person besides the fire and air thing? Because that was pretty clear. How will they know this new person who wants to come in? There we go. Distance. Oh, it might be long distance at first. Or there could be emotional distance between you. Like if this is someone coming back from your past, especially, there could be physical or emotional distance there. But also, I know there's some air signs that are not really, really great with emotional closeness. And so that could be a thing. What's this? Challenges. Work on your inner healing. Make a decision. That's that Two of Swords energy we saw there. And yeah, patience. So yeah, I very rarely get timing or in this, but I will say this 9-10 months, give it time, work on yourself, nurture what needs to be nurtured in your life, let go of what needs to go, and this will come in divine timing. And I think that's probably where I'm going to leave you guys, because there's a lot that's here that doesn't really want to come through. Yeah, if there's someone from your past, they might already be watching you, just so you know. And if you want more clarity on that, the reading right before this one on the channel was Who is Spying on You, and so you can look for that if you're called. But I am going to leave you there. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you liked this, if this resonated, if you want more like this, please let me know by liking and commenting, subscribing, telling your friends, and I would love to see you again in another reading. But for now, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night, wherever you are, and take care. Bye. Hi, Group 4. If you chose this pink opal, then this is your reading. The card you chose is the Chariot, which is the card of Cancer. And so the Chariot is all about moving forward in a balanced fashion. So when we're talking about what you and your current or next partner are going to build together, I really see you progressing towards your goals in a very balanced way. And with the Chariot being the card of Cancer, you know, Cancer is a lot about home and family. It's a very nurturing energy. And the opal, in a way, is kind of a Cancerian stone. I mean, it's not technically, but it's a stone of balance and intuition, and it attracts loving people and positive events. This particular stone, and I'll just say this, is my comfort stone. I carry it in my pocket when I know I'm gonna be in a stressful situation, because my thumb just fits really nicely in this little dip here, and it's kind of like a stem for me. It's just, I enjoy having that on hand. So with these two together, I really think that you are building a very loving home life and a very balanced partnership. But I'm going to put your stone over here, put this card back into the deck, and shuffle it a couple of times. Then we'll get some more cards for you to find out more. You know, I was telling the other groups that the card that you chose at the beginning and the stone that you chose at the beginning, for most of these groups, have been slightly opposite but complementary energies. For this group, this feels much less like opposing forces balancing each other out, and much more like mutually, it just feels more like similar energy than any of the rest of the groups. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing, they both have their challenges and their Oh, what's this? Yeah, they both have their challenges and their assets. But I think this relationship, from what we've seen already, seems a little more easy in a way, like just more in flow. I'll put it like that. Like more like you come into this relationship on the same page, so everything you work on together just makes sense in a way um, that we don't have so much in the other groups. Okay, Spirit, give me tell me more about what my group fours are building with their current or future partner. What are they creating together? What are they building? So far, we've had the Seven of Wands and the Four of Coins. So that is interesting energy. Tell me more, Spirit. What is my group four building in this relationship? Ooh. Okay, then. What is my group four building in this partnership? What are they creating together? What are they co-creating with each other and the universe? Oh, yes. Okay, don't panic. We've got some interesting cards coming out for this topic. But don't panic. Like I say, this isn't, I'm not getting a bad energy. So we're going to get some clarifiers and we're going to talk about it. So we have the Seven of Wands, the Four of Coins, the Seeker of Cups, which is the Page of Cups, and the Three of Swords so far. But so, Spirit, please clarify the Seven of Wands for my group fours. Oh, hello. Okay, these came out together. Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups. 10 of Swords. Okay. And clarify the Seeker of Cups. Tell me about this Page of Cups. The Eight of Coins. All right. You can do that. And for the Three of Swords, Spirit, one more card, please, for the Three of Swords, for what this group is creating together. Justice. That is the card of Libra. All right. All right, let's get into it. And I do apologize. I know your lighting is a little different in this group. I waited a little too late in the day to finish up this reading. And so my room is very dark, and the only way I can light it is the way it's lit. So I hope that's turning out where you guys can see. All right, so the Seven of Wands is generally a card of having fought for something that is very important to you, and you are now having to defend it. You've achieved this goal, and now you're defending it because others are trying to take it from you. But it's being clarified here by the Nine of Cups, and the Nine of Cups is a card of wish fulfillment. So I think the thing that you are fighting for with your partner, alongside your partner, might be this relationship. They think this relationship is a wish fulfillment for you, and you're not going to let anyone take that away from you. So there might be some jealousy that comes your way for having this relationship. With the Seven of Wands, this might be a relationship that you come into later in life. This might be something that yeah, it was a long time coming, but it was absolutely worth the wait. But I think people got used to you being, it's possible you have people around you who were used to you being the single one, the one they could count on to always be available for them, because you don't have family obligations, that kind of thing, where you become the emotional nurturer for your community because you're not in a relationship that is taking up all of your time. So take that as it resonates for sure. But the Seven of Wands really is about having fought hard for something and then being determined that no one's going to take it from you. And so this wish fulfillment, the success that you finally had here is, I think it's something you're both going to fight for. And if this doesn't apply to you, maybe it applies to your partner, or maybe you've had just a series of bad relationships, and this one is the one that finally feels easy. It finally feels good. It finally feels like you're on the same page. And why would you let anyone take that from you? But I think this is something that you will be doing together. You will both value this relationship so highly that you can't, there's no question of letting it go. And even if it loses you some people that you thought were going to be your friends, um what you have here is golden. So we have the Four of Coins being clarified by the Ten of Swords. And so, the Four of Coins is an energy of really trying to hold on to everything we have. And it can be a miserly energy at times, but it's very much going along with what we just talked about. It's, I worked really hard for this, and you're not taking it from me, right? And so the downfall to that, as you if you can see, the hands here are holding this, but there's all of these petals falling through, and it's like you've kind of lost the joy in having these things that you have worked for. And so I think this is something with the Ten of Swords coming out underneath. There will be these battles that you have fought to get to where you are. And I think that that is something that you are going to face alongside your person in a way. Like, I'm not going to lie, this is not a super happy energy, but going through these struggles, learning that not to hold on too tightly, and not, but also standing beside each other in some of your darkest moments. Oh, I don't know if you can hear the train. I'm sorry. And the siren together. Wow, that is, it's like something's trying to drown out your reading. And you probably don't want to hear this, because, like I say, this, with this Nine of Cups having the wish fulfillment here as being the thing that you're defending, the Ten of Swords can be a card of really rock bottom. And so when you think about who you want to be beside you while you're at rock bottom, who do you want fighting your corner with you? Who do you want, not that you're wishing them to go through this with you, but who would be the supportive kind of person that you really, that energy that when you're laying awake at night wondering how you're going to rebuild, who do you want beside you? Who do you want helping you build? And that's what you have here, is this person who isn't going to walk away just because things got hard. They might help you guys might recognize together where you could have prevented some of this by not holding on so tightly. But it's still, you're not apologizing for how highly you value this. It's just an unfortunate situation. Um, we have then the Seeker of Cups, so that's the Page of Cups, and that's a really youthful, like, kind of, not quite romantic because it's a child. So it's the sweetness and the wishing, sort of hopeful energy of this emotionally, this emotional child who is in all of this, I don't know, just this really sweet energy. It's kind of giving, six of cups a little bit, that nostalgia, that young sort of vibe where there's innocence here and sweetness. So this might be, you might be raising a child with this person. That would make sense here, because it comes out with the 8 of coins as your clarifier. And this is something you are working hard to nurture. Is And so this is, for me, this is giving child, or fur child, or plant child, or you don't have to do that, but there is a very much the energy of working hard to support whatever this youthful energy is. And it could just be your inner children. Like, this wish fulfillment could be a partner that really lights up your inner child and helps heal your inner child. You might do this for each other, because this is what you're building together. This is not about what they're coming in your life to give you, or what you're going to be giving them. This is something you are coming together and working on together. So, with justice and the 3 of swords, this is a relationship that is going to heal, I think, a lot of heartbreak that you've had in your past. We said with the 7 of wands that this has been a long battle for you to get to a relationship that feels this good. And so justice is coming in for you finally with this. You are together healing, I think, each other's broken hearts, really, really seeing them in all of their pain, and all of the ways that they have tried to make their life work, and it hasn't worked out the way they wanted. All of the ways they've given their heart and it has been rejected. All of the ways, for you too. Like, this is something you're sharing, your pain, and it's being just there's redemption here for this. Like I say, this is not the judgment card, but it's still this idea of restoring fairness after a long time, I think, of not having it. And so, you know this is someone who's in it for the long haul, who's in it, quote unquote, for better or worse. And I think you're both in that energy where you're so committed to each other, and to seeing this through, to not forgetting what a blessing this relationship is, by really just, you know being that person that the other one has always been looking for. I would not be surprised if this was like some kind of soulmate or counterpart energy here, because there, all of those battles and the ups and downs and the cycles and the drama that finally pays off in this union, um, would fit into that storyline. So what you are building a beautiful life. You are nurturing some very high level, energy. And yeah, it's not to say that you won't have heaviness, because that's a part of life too. But this is, I hear stories all the time from women about how they get sick and their partner leaves. This is not that person. This is someone who's going to stay and who's going to be there through it. And the same thing too, right? Like, whoever you are in this series, in this scenario, you're not going to run away just because things get hard, because there's health issues, or loss, and all of the things that happen in life. This is a very committed relationship, and it's really justice coming in for you after a lot of pain too. So I think I'm going to leave this part of the reading there, and we will get some oracle cards for you. And yeah, so let's see. We'll get some of these. These can be confirmations, these can be how you'll recognize this person if you're not with them already. This can just give us a little bit more insight. Keeping this reading fairly short today, because like I said in the other groups, I was not planning this reading, but Spirit rather insisted. So, Spirit, tell me how are my group fours going to recognize this person? Well, water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. So there's that. We did say that already, and I'm hearing this one. Vacation. So you might meet them on vacation, or you might have gone on vacation with this person. You might meet them after you've moved on from someone else, or they have. Whew. Patience, yeah. We already saw that, kind of how you've had to be patient with this process, and I can see how you might have thought that it wasn't going to happen and that you needed to just move on and get an extra cat or three and be happy by yourself. But and then there's nothing wrong with that, but I think this is, yeah, honeymoon phase. So you could meet them while you're attending someone's like destination wedding. That's totally a thing here with these cards. But I think you're kind of going to be in the honeymoon phase, like kind of perpetually with this person. This card is like stalking my readings right now. I don't know what the deal is with the gold digger. Um, I'm not getting that energy at all. I think you've dealt with people who were using you for what you could give them before, and that's not what this is. This is going to be a heart-opening connection. But it probably doesn't feel like that's even possible sometimes, but this is really a beautiful relationship. Spirit, how will they know? How will group fours know? Recognize this person. What can you tell us? Can you tell us about this partnership that's going to build? Date night. Get ready to be wined and dined. Yeah, I do think this is someone who really loves taking care of you, no matter what. We have wire again. Be careful of someone sneaky. I really think this is about your past. But if you're dating around and you're getting bad vibes from someone, listen to that. That's your person is not a manipulator. They are, a nurturer. How else? What else can we know, please, Spirit, about group four's person? And, I feel compelled to reiterate what we always say here, that these might not all fit for you, but take the ones that do. Only take what resonates. These aren't prescriptive here. All right, Spirit, what else can we know, please, for group four? Guardian, a lost loved one watches over you and communicate. So yeah, I think you are being protected from this liar energy. Like you can see, yeah, you're being protected. And so because if you're someone who believes in guides and ancestors or angels or whatever, like your team is rooting for you to have this healthy, committed relationship. and so they're totally protecting you. So communication is coming through here. Compromise, forgive, work it out. Yeah, I think you are going to be able to communicate with this person in a way that, like, in a totally non-judgmental way. Like, if and when forgiveness needs to happen, it will happen because you're such open people. What's this? Spy. Someone's got their eye on you. You are doing your research. Yeah. So they might be watching you if this is someone who's already in your energy. Um, and I just posted a reading right before this on who is spying on you. So if if you want to go check that out, there might be a message for you there. How else is group 4 going to recognize, or what else do they need to know about this person? Give it time. Everything in divine timing. Let things flow. Yeah, we saw this was going to take a while. So there is that being kind of reiterated here. Addiction. You know, it's possible with this addiction card. I mean, you can take that at face value if you want, but this could also be like kind of a codependency or people pleasing kind of thing where you're not secure in yourself, and therefore cannot be secure in a relationship. And so this might be something that you or your person is needing to work through. But yes, this is a very committed energy between you. I think, I think you'll get to a healthier place before that. Yeah. But use your intuition about this. And what's this? This is a yes. Luck is on your side. Yeah, I mean, you're being protected. You've got forces working in your favor for this. So it does feel like a nice energy for you after so long. And yeah, this might be an LGBTQIA plus connection, and that could be part of the delay if someone is struggling to accept their sexuality or hasn't yet discovered that they're attracted. Earth sign, so there's that. And cycles, fate, karma, something ended, something ending, something beginning. So yeah, this does seem like it's in not to be quite so punny, but it does seem like this is something that's in the cards for you. And yeah, give it time if it's not here yet. Nurture yourself, but this is a very sweet energy, and I'm excited for you to have it. So that was your reading, group 4. I am going to leave you there. I hope this was helpful for you, and if you liked it, leave a like in the comments, a subscribe, a comment, a comment, a subscribe. Sorry, I'm getting really tired. I probably should have waited for another day to do this, but here we are. Leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share, do all of those things if you feel called to do that today. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night wherever you are in the world. So take care. Bye.